In this video, I'm going to give you a quick guide on how to configure a stacked bar chart in Microsoft Power BI. So starting out, when you've already imported your data and you have some fields available, what we do is go over in the Visualizations tab here and click on Stacked Bar Chart. And that will give us a blank stacked bar chart for which to start configuring, and then we can get started. So for my data set, I'm just going to use an integer and then a category, just a text field. In this case, I have some finance data, and it's just going to be by default showing here the sum of the amount by category. So that's going to be the split. And if I go ahead and drag, I can move this around however I'd like it to be. So for the purpose of this video, I'll go ahead and make this a sort of central area right here, and all I'm doing is clicking and dragging. So inside of the area here, we could just say we could filter and we could slice on this visual right here, and we could quickly get into a couple different other sort configurations here, but we don't really need to worry about that so much. Let's go ahead and focus on tackling a couple of things here, and what I'm going to do is just walk through step by step by all of the different features that are available inside of the configuration, which mainly rests over here in these three tabs. So when we go here to the first option, the y-axis, that's just the category. So we could actually go ahead and swap if we wanted to the x and y axis, and we could get something like that, which doesn't make as much sense. So Power BI, when you add two different columns, it tries to make logical sense of what would make sense to a human right away. And in this case, it does immediately make sense, although we need to do some tweaks. Now, if we want to work on the y-axis, we can pop this open. We could rename this field from category to something else. And in this case, we could say category of spending. Okay, and we could say, in this case, dollars spent. And so now it says dollars spent by category of spending here. And so that makes a lot more sense because this is dollars spent, and we could even say sum of dollars spent because it's more accurate, sum of dollars spent, and that is by category of spending. So when we get over here to the x-axis, there's pretty much nothing else in the y-axis. We can change a couple different things with the integer and how that's balanced. So we could do the sum, we could do the average, or we could do the minimum or the maximum, and you see we're getting a lot of different values here. So I think it's important to highlight, or to be very careful about this right here, because in this case, count, this is showing the number of transactions in which shopping and restaurants are the highest number of transactions, which is providing a completely different metric. But if I go over here to sum, then I'm actually getting the sum, and you'll see that shopping is a third category instead of a top category. So more transactions were shopping, but less of the actual overall money out the door was shopping when you look at the sum of dollars across this entire data set. So you can go ahead and you can say things like, hey, show me a percentage, and you can say show value as no calculation. So if we wanted to, let's move on to the legend. If I said I wanted to make a legend with a category, something like this, that could be very useful. And then from here, we could do the same with other fields, although I don't want to spend too much time here, as it's worth just clicking around by yourself. It's pretty self-explanatory there. I didn't want to add a legend because this chart is very good with a legend. So let's move on to the next tab over here, which is Format Your Visual. That's the next place we're going to go to. And we're going to press down here. So if I say on the visual side, on y-axis, we can actually toggle this on and off and see what happens. This is actually really interesting because we can actually remove this label here and maybe actually still give the user the ability to click on one of these legend options and actually see what value is there, and we can add labels and a couple other things along down the line that will help it make sense. But for now, let's keep the y-axis. Now if we want to change things like the font, let's take that and make it that font, and maybe increase this a little bit and make the color black. We could do things like that. And we can also mess with things like max area width and we can change that around. Right now we're not having a response because it's how it's configured. But let's say that we said, we went and said switch axis position. That's the next setting. We could quickly see that this is switching which side this is on, and this is a neat way to actually show this. So we might play around with that for a second. Now the title, this is kind of cool because if I add the title, it says category of spending, but we can already see these are categories of spending. So kind of try to read the chart as what makes sense to yourself or any other human, and just sort of go with that. I'm going to remove the title for now, but all the same formatting styling is inside of this. Now let's go ahead and close those two, and let's go ahead and close the y-axis altogether because we're about done there. So the x-axis is a similar deal, except for we can set a range, and when I say a range, there's a total spend here, and what we could actually say is, like, let's say we didn't want to include anything under 25,000. What we could do is we could set the minimum range to be 25,000, and then that would be the only more than 25,000 would show. So you just got to think about if that's relevant. In this case, I think what we'll do is we'll maybe go with 5,000. Okay, great. Now we could change it to say something like logarithmic scale, which will change it from being so incredibly small down here to having more of a proportional. Even though this is 418,000 and this is 9,000, it's clearly not proportional, but it does give you a little bit more visibility, and that's pretty cool. If I click invert range, we actually have something neat like this going on, and this could be a really neat visual, so let's keep that going. I'm going to close out x-axis and go to legend. And so legend is on, but we can do a bunch of different stuff with this. So top left is where we have it now, but if I say top center or top right, we have a similar situation going on. But if I say top left stacked, I get this sort of vertical list, and if I say top right stacked, I also get this, but it's sort of confusing because I have names against names, which also asks us, do we actually want the y-axis at all? Because these are lining right up to each other almost, and the only difference we have here is that these stick with the bar, and if I turn that off, these do not stick with the bar. So kind of just something to think about there. For right now, I'm going to keep that, and then I'm going to say top left stacked, and we could change this to be a number of different places, and I'll just say top left stacked for now. Now with the text, we can go ahead and change that to be a similar font and similar size, and work with that, and maybe we'll take that color and change it to black. And from here, let's just think about the next setting here. So just like I said before with the other category of spending title on the y-axis here, we don't really need that because we know that that's the category of spending. But if we wanted to change that and we wanted to say something like legend, we could, or we could even give the user instructions. Through here we could say select category below, and then that would prompt them to then say, oh, I didn't know I could select a category below, but then you can. So that's really neat. So from here we could go and we have these grid lines here, these gray lines, and what I like to do is, these can be configured however you like, but I actually like to turn those off. And sometimes there's dual grid lines, but for this use case I like to just take those out of the picture. Now if I add zoom slider is really cool for when you have a really wide variance or you want to narrow down on a small range. So let's say I want to look at everything between around 10,000 and 5,000. So at least this is the range represented here. We have it in logarithmic, so we're getting some slightly more values than that, but we're still down to where we can see 5,000 is the sum across this entire data set here. So that's this just gives the user the ability to interact a little bit more fluidly with the data set, and actually pick the range that they want. So that's worth including. I like to just have that by default. You can add slider labels as well, and I think that they get a little bit confusing where you have them side by side here, sort of like what's going on. I've got all of I've got these numbers, and then I've got these numbers, and honestly, it's fine, but it's definitely worth thinking about. So from there, let's close that. And if we go to bars, we can actually change these colors to be reflecting whatever color scheme we want. So you can go through here and color these to your heart's content, and you can do some really neat things where you apply custom palettes and do some really neat visuals with that. With spacing, now we can change the padding. We can make these appear thinner, more spaced out. We can do a variety of different things there. Now, one thing that's worth noting is I changed the minimum category width here. I actually am getting what appears to be kind of like, it looks like it's taking the larger categories and kind of pushing them up, which is sort of what's happening, but it's just a neat visual here, and definitely worth including. Now you see I go down here and I have all of these different categories that have no visible bar. Those would be some variables that would be worth filtering out. So maybe this value right here, which is about 5,000, it might be worth filtering out anything below 5,000 here. So just something to think about. Now, when it comes to data labels, this is really important. So by default, these are all nice and pretty, but one thing I want to say is one thing I had to do here is I had to click on my amount tab because I wanted to represent dollars, and then I had to go to column tools, and then I had to click on the currency format for that integer, which gives you access to all of the currency values that you might need. So if you're dealing with a currency and you want to get out of it just saying 418K without the dollar sign, you're definitely going to want to go and click on the field, that integer field that you want to be a currency, and then going to column tools and changing the format. So that's something valuable to know there. So let me go back to where I was in data labels. So here we could go ahead and we could show different we could apply settings to specific columns in the series, but we won't worry about that right now. One thing that's valuable to know is the position of the actual labels themselves is worth noting. So if you wanted to do something clean where they're all up at the end here, this creates a situation where you're always able to see the label no matter how you slide. But if you do something where you say inside end, maybe as I'm filtering down, you get kind of a different effect. But this kind of creates a cool sort of animation type accordion situation that could be really neat. And some, sometimes people like things at the center, but then they're not as lined up. So just kind of see what works best for you. So I think that maybe this right here, where we put the labels on the end, that could be pretty cool. And maybe we'll stick with that because this kind of gives like a waterfall effect. And if we try to use the slider, we get this neat visually stimulating animation type situation. And if we go to values, we have some display units. So we could say like, hey, I want to display in millions, and then this would give all of the numbers in millions. But if I said my rental income was 0.1 million, that may sound kind of impressive, but in reality, it's actually just better to display it in thousands. And if I had some sort of decimal place situation, I wanted to change, like I'm kind of seeing here, I could go ahead and say that I don't want any decimals, or that I just want one decimal. And then if I had some overflow text, I could turn this on, in which case I don't. But like, let's say I had a really long label here, then I could make that be dealt with in terms of like overflowing, so that way it wouldn't mess up. And this is probably really a lot more relevant to having a smaller visual where you have like a more crowded widget. So like this, for instance, if I have this guy over here, if I toggle this on or off, so you see right here I have some overflow where this is right up against the edge here, and if I turn overflow text off, or if I turn it off, then you see I don't have that, and I will never have a label that would have overflow. Now with background, this is kind of the last setting here in this section. You could just go ahead and turn that on. You could add in a some sort of color to the actual label, and increase the transparency or not. You could do something like that. Sometimes it's cool to do something subtle there. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot, if I wanted to do total labels. Total labels are kind of cool. So you could go and you could actually have two different types of labels, or you could remove this initial data label and then just keep the total label, and you could kind of go back and forth on that. So it's sort of up to you as to what you want to do. I don't think that there should be both, so I'm just going to leave this one. And the last setting here, plot area background. So this just lets you put an image inside of the plot area, so this whole area here, so you could add in a cool texture or something like that and create a really nice custom visual stacked bar chart here. So that's sort of up to you. Now the last thing I'll show you is the constant line. Now a constant line would be something like if I wanted to highlight all of my transactions that were over 40,000, I could do something like this. I could add a line, and I could say I wanted this constant line. I'm just going to name it, say above 40K. Okay, and that's just the name of it. And what I have to do is I have to give this a value of 40,000, and then I'll apply that. And so this could be like a red line, and right now it's dashed, and the transparency is making it kind of ghosty. And so I want it to be stronger. I want it to stand out and be like, okay, if this is above 40K, this is the line, okay, of these are the 5 categories that go above 40K. I could change that style here, and maybe I'll make this a dotted line, and I could say I want it in front or I want it in back of these. You see that slid right behind that, and that's cool. But because it's important for me to know what's above 40K, I'm going to say, hey, I'll put that in the front. Now for data label, I'm going to want to have, and it's hidden up here in the top, actually a label that says, is this above 40K or not. So I could actually do, let me say, under. So see, this is the guideline here, and you see I have this set to 40K now, and I could take this and I can make this red as well, and that's great. But what I'm also thinking is I want to display this, what I want to do is I want to display this as the name that I gave it. So I'm going to say name, and where this says above 40K, that actually distinguishes just the data value of 40K, and actually gives it a value of name, which now I've written here, it says above 40K. So this is the number that I want to care about. So at this point, we've covered basically everything inside of this specific widget here. Maybe glossed over a couple of different things, but for right now, like, this is how you can build out a stacked bar chart. So if you want to say, hey, let me see the restaurants, let me see cash and ATM, everything's sorted nicely, you've got a really cool aesthetic here, and you can definitely work on the styling and build that out more, and add in the colors. But for the intent of this video, just to understand the bar chart configuration, I hope this is helpful, and thanks for watching.